Thank you, John. And if I'm going to have some visuals in a moment, so you might want to go to active speaker mode so you're seeing me, but I'll leave that to you. And if you don't know active speaker mode, upper right corner under view. So I got an email a couple of days ago from a person who said, "Hey, Bill, can you come and give a briefing to our board of directors?" And I got to tell you, I hope you don't consider this bragging, but I am a great salesman when somebody reaches out to me already deciding to buy my services. I'm not so good at reaching out to other people and doing the sale, but I'm pretty good when they've decided. But you know, if I had run into this person in a Starbucks, I would not have recognized him. I don't know if we've met, but he gets my newsletter, and the email to me came as a reply from my newsletter. And that is a substantial portion of the incoming inquiries for work is reply to my newsletter. So why is my newsletter working? I'm getting open rates in the high 30%. I think the key is that in my newsletter, it is a reminder that you exist. That is the primary goal of my newsletter. A secondary goal is to highlight my expertise, but emphasizing that I exist because, you know, we know that we exist and you never forget that you are around, but other people do. And somebody will have on a to-do list, oh, get a speaker for the board of directors, or have somebody work on our marketing problem, or have somebody help us with our AR. But that if that person sees the right name before it's reached to the top of the to-do list, then that person has a great opportunity. Some people, I get a lot of other people's newsletters, and incidentally, I probably do not want yours, but they highlight their expertise. And that's fine as a secondary goal, but it's not nearly as important as simply reminding people that you exist. So let me tell you how I remind people that I exist. This is a copy of my monthly newsletter. It's economic charts because I'm an economist with some handwritten comments. The comments add personality. And let's look a little bit, let me zoom in on a portion of this. So this happens to be a chart of retail sales. It changes every month with my own handwritten comment. I think that there are two parts of my newsletter strategy that are really working well. The first is there's an image. If somebody sees a bunch of gray text, I tell you, it's really easy to delete, but an image catches the eye. We're image-oriented people. And secondly, it's relevant to what they are doing. So people get my newsletter because they want a 60-second update on the economy. So image and relevant. But now, most of you are not economists. Maybe nobody on this call is an economist, but I think you can all use images and that are relevant to your market pretty well. I just worked on what are some ideas. So suppose you're an HR person and you're thinking about vaccine policy, communicating to other HR people. The CDC and all government agencies have a lot of images, charts, and diagrams that are in the public domain. If you're grabbing something from a private source, you need to worry about copyright, but for stuff from the government, that works out pretty well. And those of you with much of an academic background are used to some of the charts that we have seen, like the BCG chart, where business divisions are divided into stars and question marks and dogs and cash cows. And you can take one of this, you know, this one or Porter's 5 thingies chart, anything, and make that relevant to your client market. You can also look for newspaper headlines. So let's say that you're doing data security. This happened to be a headline in the Wall Street Journal the day I started putting this presentation together. And in this example, it's an attention-getting headline that potential clients would probably have seen, but then it has some content relevant to the people. So what do you want to do with a newsletter? Think about it. Let me throw out some additional ideas. I think that more and more people should be working in their own niche, looking for images relevant to people and shooting that out. Mine goes out monthly. I don't know if that's the perfect interval, but there are a couple of other ideas I'm going to suggest if you want to use newsletters in a lighter way. One is look at other people's newsletters. This happens to be mine, and when I give presentations, I show this up. People can subscribe to it, and you can subscribe to it by texting the word econ to 42828. Enter those 5 digits as if it's a phone number. 42828, text the word econ, and you're on my newsletter list. If you see something in my newsletter that would be relevant to one of your clients, go ahead and forward it and just say, hey, Sally, I got this economics newsletter, and you might want to look at the chart on retail sales or whatever is relevant to that. You can do the same thing with other people's newsletters, particularly if you have a concept of who are the people you want to be in touch with and what are their interests. Who do you want to be in touch with and what are their interests? Use other information, other newsletters, and contact them. That will remind people that you exist. So I'm about to close. Let me just remind you that the goal of a regular newsletter is, first of all, to remind people that you exist. Highlighting the expertise is secondary. You can add a little bit in, but you need to remind people that you exist. That's everything I have prepared, and I'd be more than happy to take questions. How do